Forza Horizon 4 car list, with Horizon 3 having around 400 and Motorsport 7 having around 700. How would you feel if the franchise was to reduce the number of in-game cars to focus on improving other aspects of the game? Are you for or are you against? Well, I carried out a public survey by way of the YouTube community tab I've got on the channel, asking that very same question, and as with the last survey I put out in relation to Forza Horizon 4 customization, there was a fantastic response from many of you. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to split this video into two parts. First and foremost, we're going to look at the arguments who are against having the car list cut or reduced. Now, before we start reading out a few of your comments, what I want to do is point something out. This is not a wish list video, yeah? I know there's going to be some people out here that are going to start jumping up and down, oh, Forza Horizon 4 is already in development, it's too late to start. This is not a wish list video. Forza Horizon 4 is just the placeholder for this being a wider discussional piece. Every single Forza based game has hundreds upon hundreds of cars. So this discussion can be applied to any forthcoming Forza game, whether it be Forza Motorsport 8 next year, whether it be Forza Horizon 5 2 years from now. It just so happens that I'm using Horizon 4 as a placeholder due to its upcoming release, making it the most relevant entry in the series to talk about. So kicking things off, we've got Ramesh Moffat, who says, I think if they do that, it will be a flaw in their foundation unless they can compensate by producing better story or world content to soak up what would be empty space. So it all depends what the benefits of such a sacrifice would be. Next up, we've got Shikei Hawkin, who says, man, Forza Horizon 4's main selling point would be the car variety and the open world scenery. Take one of those out for more customization and it can't be called Horizon anymore. We've got Rollon962810, who says less cars would make the game worse. Forza Horizon has many cars of different types. It makes it good to have a big selection to choose from. Next up, we've got, oh, it's that damn Pagani again, cinematics. I would kind of be upset if there were less cars because the smaller manufacturers need to be noticed, like Zenvo and Spania GTA were in Forza Horizon 3. Removing cars that people don't really use may have its benefits, but if you're losing money because potential partners backed out and people aren't buying because you purposely removed their favourite car, the franchise is in trouble. Good point. The Lone Wolf says it would suck if there were less cars. Danny Mendoza says giving less cars is like giving less opportunities to people to have fun driving. There's lots of cars that we could like to drive and customize. It would make the game less interesting. Lyndon Kalmar, LLC guy, he calls himself. I don't get it. Some people are saying they wouldn't mind less cars and more content. The cars are the content, people. Also, it's not guaranteed that less cars equals more customization. True. We've got Dorset the Ford GTE, who says, I don't think they'll get rid of a big chunk of cars. The usual Forza games get rid of a few cars for the newer ones, so no, I don't see any benefit from them removing cars in any way. We've got Arno Thunder, who says, I would rather have the more cars option, to be completely honest. The reason I like Forza is the fact that the variety of cars is huge and the fact that you can build any car to do what you want it to do. I don't want this game to turn into Need for Speed, because this is not what Forza Horizon is, in my opinion, damn it. More customization would be nice, but I'd rather have the big variety of cars, even though there are a few weird ones. I like the fact that you can go online, be competitive, and there won't be two of the same cars there. Next up, we've got Ryan Jacobson, who says car roster is their only real guaranteed trump card over the competition. They'd be shooting themselves in the foot. We've got Midnight Hoon, who says given the fact that in this game the main attention are the cars, less cars would not be a great idea. I think there are a lot of cars out there which deserve to be in this game. The producers would have to take each brand with whom they have an agreement and look throughout the brand's history and select iconic cars, but also the ones that are not very known but are still great cars, and add them to the list. Mr. JR or Junior, I'm not sure which one it is, but he says unless they use the extra time to add in more events, a more open world, or an optional realistic handling model, it would be a bad move. We've got Nicholas Mellon, who says, I think that will be a bad move. If you look at everyone's reaction to the car lists of recent racing games, I feel that this is a common complaint among the gamers. Everyone wants more cars. Forza makes me want cars I didn't even know existed. If they were to take a huge hook like that, they better have a damn good reason. I'm not a game designer, but I don't see why with today's technology we can't have our cake and eat it. And I'm going to buy a donut after reading that comment because you've made me hungry, sir. Thank you very much for your input. Right, next up we've got Lois. I'm not sure if I've pronounced that correctly. Terribly sorry if I've got that wrong, sir. It's not a problem for me. but for the reviewers it's crucial. It can be the best Forza game ever for us, but the game will have bad reviews compared to the past ones. That's a very good point. And last but not least, for the arguments against, we've got Michael Bay, of whom I left his comment last out of sheer fear that this video might just blow up at any given moment. Rather have more cars than customization, the game will get boring if it only has a few cars. Payback for me is boring because there are so many other cars that should have been in the game. Please don't blow up my video, sir. It's not a movie set. Right then, some fantastic points there, some very enlightening points of view from many of you who are against the idea of them cutting the car list. Now, I did mention that I wanted to go back and just touch on a few of the comments that you guys put out. I think it was Shikei Hawken who mentioned that if you take out the massive car list, you're basically saying that Forza Horizon is no longer Forza Horizon. And I kind of agree with that. You see, in the last video I put out, the most requested improvement, the customization video, you may remember me putting out quite a bold statement in relation to how gaming works as a business. See that changing anytime soon. I don't see Forza turning around and changing their strategy because, like I said, their car list is actually one of their key fundamental and unique selling points. It's one of the things that they can say that they have over everybody else. Well, we've got more choice. We offer you more chances, more opportunity to facilitate having cars that you're more likely to be interested in than anyone else by way of having more offerings. That is one of their unique selling points, and as a company, as a business, you don't want to kill that off. You don't want to remove one of the fundamental reasons as to why people will buy your game. Oh, this car isn't in that game and it's not in that game? Well, I'm going to buy Forza Horizon as a result because they have it in their game. Most businesses follow core values and principles. If you take Forza Horizon and look at its core principles, fantastically large and expansive open world, from beautiful vistas and landscapes to plenty of exploration opportunities, fantastically rendered 12K skies and map-based elevation changes, along with surface changes, asphalt, tarmac, rainforest, mountainous regions, snow regions, on-road, off-road, you name it. These are the things that make Forza Horizon the experience that it is in terms of its open world, and stylistically has become synonymous with the brand itself. The second principle is Forza Horizon's handling model. Now, we all know it's based on being an arcade game. It's an arcade action open world adventure. It is not supposed to be compared to Project Cars 2. It's not supposed to be compared to the likes of Gran Turismo Sport, Assetto Corsa, etc. It is supposed to be compared with The Crew, Need for Speed, and games of that ilk. But with that being said, even though this type of racing game, and when I say this type, I don't just mean Forza Horizon, I'm talking about action arcade racing games in general, has often got a cartoonish, like exaggerated handling model. Here's the thing, what you will not know if you've never played a Forza Horizon game before is that the handling model deployed is actually not similar, but closer to what you'd find in a simulation-based racer than those handling models used in its rivals. An example of this is often found in things like drifting. You actually have to work to get your car into a drift. There's no designated button that just allows you to do it. And when you do finally activate that drift, you actually have to work with counter steering and throttle control to actually hold the angle. When it comes to racing games of all types, people like to chop and change. Some people like to use automatic transmission. Some people like to use manual because they're more confident and more skilled drivers. But what this also does is it gives them a greater degree of control over the driving experience itself, thus making it more realistic. Now, am I sitting here saying to you guys that Forza Horizon is the only game within the arcade racing genre that uses manual transmission? No, I'm not, because I know you can do that in other games as well. However, what sets Forza apart is the fact that not only does it give you manual transmission, but it goes further by giving you manual and clutch as an option as well, which is a level above just standard manual, adding another layer of realism to the handling model. And on the subject of realism, once again, compared to its two biggest rivals, Need for Speed and The Crew, it's the only one out of the three which refuses to utilize and deploy any form of NOS facility. There's no NOS button, there's no nitro button, there's no turbo boost button that makes flames come spewing out the back of your car and sees you going from 60 miles per hour to about 726. No, it doesn't happen. If you want your car to go faster, you tune it. And the third and final key principle, key fundamental cornerstone of every Forza game is the whole reason why we've had this discussion, the car list. See, here's the thing, when it comes to a Forza car list, Well, it's not just the car list. It's so expansive, it's so diverse, it's so fully packed. It's more like a celebration of all things motorsport. Cars like the Ferrari Dino and the Ferrari Testarossa, heritage, prestige and passion personified. Cars like the Aerial Atom and the KTM Crossbow, for those of you who are track day enthusiasts. A fan of JDM cars but annoyed at the fact that whenever you pick up a game you only see maybe one variant of a Skyline or one variant of a Silvia? Well, Forza is the game for you, with the largest collection of relevant JDM cars, both past and present, readily available out of the box. So there you go, those are the 3 core principles, the 3 unique selling points, the 3 reasons as to why you would buy a Forza Horizon game over a Need for Speed, over the Crew. And as you can see, one of those components of that trio is none other than the car list. And for the reasons mentioned in relation to the sheer vastness of it, the sheer array of choice, car types, generation types, prestige, old school, new school, muscle, whatever, taking all of that into consideration, it's fair to understand why there's a significant amount of people who would not like to see the car list sacrificed, or cut should I say, lessened maybe. Right then, so that brings us to the end of part 1 in this debate. In part 2, I'm going to be looking at all the arguments for cutting the car list or reducing it. And just like I did in this video, I'm going to provide my own argument supporting that as well. And you'll be very pleased to know that that video will be dropping within the next 24 hours because I've already recorded it, it's already done. In fact, it's already uploaded, I've just saved it to private. If it's your first time around here, I wish you a born welcome. Once again, thank you to all of you who participated by laying down your comments for me to read out in this video. Apologies if I got anyone's name wrong, of course. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on so that you do not miss the second part to this debate when it drops. And in the meantime, I will see you when the next video comes out. Take it easy, please.